Welcome back to Ask the Attorney. I'm Amy Rao Mohan along with Kevin Kennedy from the Kennedy Law Firm in Clarksville. 3 different locations in Clarksville.
Right, Fort Campbell Boulevard, right outside the 101st Army base in downtown, right in front of the courthouse, the Kennedy building. And then we have one on Wilma Rudolph, the biggest boulevard going through Clarksville in St. Bethlehem.
All right. Well, keep those calls coming, 737 plus 737 7587. And again, any type of law, civil, criminal, bankruptcy, Social Security, Kevin is your man to answer it. So let's go to George here. Hi, George.
How you doing?
Good.
Doing great. Go ahead, George.
Miss Kennedy, on the 15th, while coming back home, put in this driveway on a Saturday night about 8 o'clock. I got rear-ended real bad. Had to be rushed to the hospital. And just now trying to recuperate.
Yes.
And the officer that came by, he didn't do all the paperwork right. He didn't let me know if the person had insurance. He said she was driving a suspended license, and he issued a citation.
Okay.
Now, my car is damaged to all the pieces. It can't be fixed.
Yes.
And I had to go to the towing lot and get it out of the shop, pay it myself.
Yes.
Now, I had insurance, liability, and
you need to get with a lawyer immediately. The odds when you get hit in the back end, the odds are great. It's not absolute, but the odds are great that the other person's going to be at fault. Now, do they have insurance? We'd have to find that out. It's another good time to see. You say you only had liability. You know, this is great for the viewing audience. If you only have liability, you ought to get an uninsured motorist rider, just a little policy in case that person didn't, you could still make your claim, because one of these massive car wrecks can ruin you for a lifetime. So we have to take care of ourselves, and more and more and more. But you know, you've got the classic case that all the personal injury lawyers would love is a rear-ender. If they've got, first off, you have to have a proximate cause. You have to have someone responsible for that negligence, and then there's damages, and then you have to have a deep pocket, as the lawyers say, someone who can pay for that. And if you miss one of those little parts of the formula, it doesn't work. And when you get all three lined up, it works beautifully.
Right. Well, good advice there. We've got
good luck to you, George.
Leo here. Hi, Leo.
Hi.
Good
Hello,
evening.
Leo. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I've got a question about making a will. If me and my wife both need a will,
yes,
we've got kids, and also what does the will cost, and would it be better to put everything in a trust, and what would it cost?
Well, here's what I'd say as a general rule. The wills, you know, you ask everyone, that you get 100 different opinions. For the normal husband and wife, I like a will. Let him leave everything to her, let her leave everything to him.
In 2 separate wills.
In 2 separate wills. In case of a simultaneous death, if you were both killed in a car wreck, then it would go to the children. And then when the other one passed away, she may have to reevaluate what to do, or you'd have to reevaluate. Normally wills, sometimes wills can cost as little as $150. Certain instances, trusts come into play, and then that's a wide range. What do you really need? Do you need a living trust? Do you need an irrevocable trust? Do you need a revocable trust or a spendthrift trust? So just talk to the lawyers and let them price them. Most of the lawyers have free initial consultation, so you should just call and try to get in and talk to them a little bit and then evaluate. You know, the truth is, it is so complex, even when I talk to the most skilled. At that first sitting, it's hard for me to make a decision. This is what I need, because the question gets down to, even if you have money, how much money do we put in this irrevocable trust? How much real estate do we put in the revocable trust? And there's a host of issues that we have to evaluate.
Yeah, and it's good to get advice, even as, and I had just gotten out of law school when I had done this, but I went to a lawyer who specialized in estates because I didn't know myself exactly what I needed or wanted.
Well, we know a lot of the theories. I like to hear what everyone has to say. That's one of the things I wrote in one of my books. Listen to lots of people, then make your own decision.
Right. We've got James here. Hi, James.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Great, James. Go ahead.
Hey, buddy. What it is, we was in an accident. It's probably been 6 months ago. We was rear-ended.
Okay.
Because they was at fault. Cops said they was at fault. And it hurt my wife. She had a sprained neck, shoulder, and then punched her head.
Yes.
And I wasn't injured. We went to the emergency room a couple times and followed the doctor visit. And I think the doctor bill was like $15,000.
Yes.
They're wanting to settle out of court for $17,000, and they want to cover that. I believe it cover all the hospital bills, but the lawyer fee, because the lawyer has it now.
So you did give it to a lawyer?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. And what's happened to you is happening all across the nation. How can you be liable? And when they run in the back end of you, hey, that's pretty clear to me. I think we can advance. They've got insurance. But the truth is, we've got $16,000 or $17,000 worth of medical bills. Insurance company says, okay, we're liable. We're going to pay the bills. Well, that doesn't give that client anything for pain and suffering. The lawyer gets a third. Well, golly, they are forcing litigation. They're really not acting in good faith. And of course, you'll hear some insurance adjusters, and that's why I want you to hire a lawyer immediately. I don't want you to give any recorded statements. We've said it many times, loose lips sink ships. The insurance companies, they have the best lawyers. Their agenda is to pay out as little. It's not be fair. It's pay out as little as they can. Your lawyer has an agenda. That's why this 1/3 is the greatest system ever. And when people say, we got to have tort reform, guess what? When you cut the lawyers, you cut the little man. Because the insurance companies and the big corporations, they will always say, well, we're going to offer this, but it's not even enough to be fair. I've said many times, if you close those courthouse doors to the lawyers, you've closed justice to the average man. He's the last vestige, because you can't generate enough money to pay that lawyer by the hour. It's only the 1/3 system that keeps us going.
Yeah, you get a little skin in the game and you
Yes.
kind of fight harder maybe.
Absolutely.
All right, you've got Claude here on 4. Hi, Claude.
Yes, thank you for taking my call. Kevin, I've got a situation with a neighbor that's selling his home, and he's got a big tree that has rotted and fell in between my property and his. And I think he was going to fish pedal and sell it without telling me, so I went over and talked to him about it, and it seems like he was going to take care of it. Well, I went ahead and had it appraised to see what it would take it out and put it to the road. And now he's back fishing and don't want to pay the money to do it, and I'm sort of stuck in the middle. What do you do with somebody like that when it's their tree, but it's falling into your property tree?
Yes, I got you. Well, whenever you have that situation, the first thing you should do is document, go out and take some pictures. We'll look and see if the tree, was it an act of God? That's where the wind just comes over and blows. Or was it negligence on his part not to take it down when it had already died? So again, what I would do, and many times you try, you know, neighbors are, it's a great, you need to treat others as you would have them treat you. But in so many people, they say, oh, sure, Kev, I'm going to take care of, but they don't do a follow through. So if it were me, and it was, we'd have to see how much the expense is, and is it worth getting into it with your neighbor from now on?
Who you have to live next to forever.
Yeah, we have to live next door to them for years. Do we just take care of it and get rid of it and try to have a good relationship with your neighbor? Or do you say, hey, I'm going to get a lawyer. The lawyer will charge a little fee and send a letter and say, based on your representation and based on this, then you should turn this into your insurance company and let the insurance company, and you may have to make a claim with that. But the lawyer could help you. But the one thing, remember this, the Bible says you're going to reap what you sow, and I would just look real careful, because I hate to make a neighbor mad.
And I think
for how long? For a lifetime.
Yeah. Well, and I think one of the issues, Courtney, our producer, is just pointing out that Claude's neighbor is trying to sell his house. And so I guess how does that play into it, and what should he do?
Well, I'd see a lawyer and I'd put him on alert. If he's going to sell, you know, we don't have that long relationship to have to deal with. And so the lawyer could give him so many days, let him turn it into his insurance company, send an adjuster out there, and the insurance company may just pay for it.
Okay. Got Miles here. Hi, Miles.
Hello.
How can we help you tonight?
Okay. Well, my question is, I have a problem with workman's comp. If you get hurt on the job and you average like 20 hours overtime a week, do they have to pay the 60% on just your regular $10 an hour, or do they have to pay the 60% on your average annual income?
Okay. Great question. That is the workers' comp. They have revised workers' comp.
Yeah, it's really,
the
I don't
legislature
know
came
what the new
through,
law is.
and when they changed it, it was not to the benefit of the worker. And so I feel for you, sir. And what they've done, they've cut a lot of the lawyers out of workers' comp. So many lawyers say, we don't want to get involved. They have formulas, and those formulas will be interpreted. And one of the ideas that what you might do is hear what they are offering, try to pinpoint their lawyer. The lawyers are not supposed to misrepresent. If you're asking them some questions and you say, well, is this the same question you asked me? It's a great question. Then you could also call the Tennessee Department of Labor and say, I've been represented by this company's insurance lawyer that this is what it is. Is that your We have state employees that are there to help you. And again, if it's a serious workers' comp injury, you still got a fighting chance to get a lawyer to get involved to try to help you. And you know, I'll never forget it. One of the guys in my church years ago, and I said, well, you need the lawyer. And he said, okay. And his boss came in and told him, he said, hey, we got it in black and white. You don't need a lawyer. I'll never forget it as long as I live. And I said, if that's really what you want to do, I'll back out. We're in church together. Well, he came up to my car window. I remember this, about 1988, and he was crying. And he said, Kevin, they've double-crossed me. And I never will forget, I said, well, did I not want to, I wanted to say, you know, did I not tell you to get a lawyer and let's go through it? And he said, well, they've just double-crossed me. And I said, well, what about your friend, the boss? He said, I went and talked to him. And he said, well, I sure am sorry. I never thought they would do that to you. So it's a sad story. We're going to have to look after ourselves, and the best way to do that is always try to get a lawyer. Even though there's a 20% fee, it's well worth it, because somewhere down the road there's going to be a misunderstanding and you need somebody on your team. Build that team. Together, each achieve more.
All right, so call that number at the bottom of your screen, 615-737+, 737-7587, and we'll be back with Kevin Kennedy after a short break.